fofo. For the city and the back roads, got a whole county full of them goats. All from the fofo, and let's go. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmerton and Valley. We from the fofo chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewell got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating those dragons who run the whole city. You wildin'. And they really bout it, yeah. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them, yeah. And Connie, I flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the fofo. This for the fofo. This for the fofo.
Good morning, everybody. Today, Thursday, March 30th, here on the 440 Sports Show. My name is Sam Torres. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. We got some great stuff to talk about, including a new show coming up on Sunday that we're going to be doing on a weekly basis. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. We are also going to preview the Conneaut Spartans softball team. Shout out to Coach Lexi Zappatelli because an incredibly in-depth outlook on the season given from her. So that's going to help us a whole lot as well. We're going to touch over on the scoreboard today as much as we possibly can because, believe it or not, outside of Ashtabula, a lot of baseball and softball still happening right now. Not everybody got a random late March snowstorm yesterday, which was obviously going to put a kibosh to our any baseball or softball plans that we did have. I do know of one game that does happen yesterday for sure. Lakeside and Geneva baseball get a doubleheader in early in the morning. Geneva coming out on top 11-0 and 13-0. A rough start for the Dragons so far. But, shout out to those two teams for getting that done, getting a doubleheader in the middle of the week. Why? Because it's spring break, so you've got the time to do it. They go out there and, again, a rough start for Lakeside, but I don't think that, Coach Zyber is too concerned yet at this point. It's early, they got it. Sometimes you got to shake the sillies off, right? Like the little kids song says. But that was one of the games that happened yesterday. It's not on the scoreboard yet, but I will bring up the YSN scoreboard. This is something I really want you guys all to become acquainted with, just because it's such a great tool. Now, this is something that we will be going over on a different show as well, but you can never get too much information as far as I'm concerned. Let me get this pulled up right here for you. So you're going to want to head over to YSN, www.ysnlive.com. And as you can see, all the scores that you're going to need from the area are going to be available right here. All of our YSN teams, I guess I should preface that, which is 7 out of the 8 Ashtabula County teams. We're going to be keeping scores for you right here. Just going through a couple of the names right now. Jefferson baseball falling to South Range 10-0. And, South Range starting off pretty good. They're 2-0 so far on the year. So Jefferson going to kind of have to shake the dust off as well. A rough start for them. Jefferson softball also losing to South Range softball 4-2. So, those are some of the Ashtabula teams that you're going to see on here. I just think that this website in particular offers so much for anybody who's trying to keep up on local scores. You know what I mean? You're going to be able to find everything right here. This is not updated yet because we're so early in the season, but you can also click on standings right here. And now when you go under standings, just like they did for basketball, You know, each conference going to have their own tab. Each conference going to have their own tab, and you know, we'll be keeping up with standings and your daily games and that sort of thing. You know, I won't be referencing as much of the exact games. I'll be covering the games that happen up here in Ashtabula, but a lot of that is actually going to happen on a brand new show that is coming up. Now, let me get that loaded up here for us. I'm really, really excited with this one. This is going to be, you know, if you got to think about kind of if you follow YSN, you know that you know that we during the year, excuse me, I was losing my words there. During the year, we always during the football season, we always have a what they call a super show, where you're going to get together, everybody's going to discuss local the football games. They go through a little bit of some picks, that sort of thing. We're going to start trying that right here with baseball on a new show with me and Anthony Hartwig and Steve Leslie for sure. We're going to be joined on the show by some of YSN's best, including DJ Oakley on from time to time. We're going to be joined by Chris Sigler, Alex Claberna, you know, all the announcers who are covering the games will be coming through as we do. You know, it's basically going to be a Sunday night review show, and the Sunday night review show is going to be called the Diamond Roundup. Again, that's going to be on Sunday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. You're going to be able to get all of the prior week's baseball and softball games. You're going to have some, you know, we're going to basically have some players of the week without giving away too much. You're definitely going to want to tune in this Sunday at 7 o'clock. I can tell you that, as we'll go into that a little bit more in depth. But, you know, we'll have some players of the week. We'll be going through some stats. We will be doing a full recap of the week, you know, talking about the biggest games, the biggest moments. You know, that's where we're really going to kind of focus in on standings within the conference. And we're going to be talking about things like not just what teams won and lost. We will obviously talk about what teams won and lost, but really what those win and losses are going to do for the year, particularly in conference play. Are these guys, you know, are they on a losing streak? Are they on a winning streak? You know, big stuff that's going on. I know we have a young lady from, I believe, Southern Local, and if I'm wrong, I apologize in advance. I believe she threw a perfect game already this year, which is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. But that is one of the things that we're going to be doing on Sundays. Think about Sunday night baseball, okay? I want you to think Sunday night baseball, but right here on ysnlive.com. It's going to feature myself, Sam Torres, Anthony Hartwig. It's going to have Steve Leslie. We're going to have DJ Oakley coming in. We're going to have, you know, a bunch of announcers from the YSN family to come in and give you a real recap of what's going on in baseball or softball from the river to the lake. I just think it's a really cool thing that I'm not sure that this area has ever had any kind of group review show, you know, covering baseball. And baseball and softball is one of those sports that, you know, YSN and myself personally are bound and determined to cover at a much more consistent basis, a much more consistent pace. And I'm really proud to kind of be a part of this and get it going. And I think it's really going to first of all, I think it's going to help people follow a lot of these teams as well. You know, I think the people up in Ashtabula, you know, it's a lot harder to follow some of these teams down south, and the people down south, it's really hard to follow the teams up here in Ashtabula because of the lack of coverage that existed before this. So I think this is going to help. I think it's going to give a more holistic look to everything. And I'm really, really excited. Again, I'll run this on the screen one more time. The Diamond Roundup, YSN's Diamond Roundup, that's going to be on Sunday nights starting at 7 o'clock. It's a 1-hour show. Give us 1 hour of your Sunday. And we're going to be covering baseball, softball from the prior week. We've got some other cool stuff that we're going to do that way, do on the show too, but we're going to reveal that on Sunday. Yeah, it's just going to be really, really cool. I'm really excited about that. Make sure you're going to ysnlive.com for all of your information. It's a one-stop shop. You're going to be able to find records, the game scores. You're going to be able to, there's a lot of stories on there. You're going to get game stories. So not just the scores. A lot of the games are going to have a story attached to them. So you can get kind of a look rather than just the numbers, and see how that's going and what's really going on with teams in the area. And I'll be honest with you, folks, it's been a rough start for Ashtabula. Ashtabula baseball has had a rough go of it so far. I know Edgewood has gone down there and ran into two very, very good teams, including a state champion Tennessee team, as well as a Louisville, who is very, very good. Oh, I'm glad I got that text because we're going to get ready. We're going to get ready to do our all right, good. We're going to get ready to do our Conneaut our Conneaut our Conneaut preview here in just a little bit after our break, but had to get something updated on there. But anyway, just wanted to kind of go through where we're standing so far. So far, all of our county baseball teams still looking for that first win. Most of our county teams are still looking for that first game. I know St. John has had like 3 games that have been canceled due to weather, including a game down against Warren JFK. So it's early. It's early, and a lot of teams have to get that kickstart. And as I'm looking through these scores, I'm like, come on, Ashtabula, we got to get one. We got to get one. But I know these kids are out there doing their very, very best, and I applaud all of their efforts. Looking forward to kind of seeing where this baseball season is going to go, because the one thing I can say with 100% certainty is that there's a ton of talent right here in the county. A ton. We have some very, very talented baseball players. And the more and more I'm learning, so do a lot of the surrounding area teams. There's a lot of talent to be had there in baseball, and it's going to be a great year, folks. It really is going to be a great year, folks. And I cannot explain enough how excited I am to get this baseball season moving. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get it going because Mother Nature is just, doing what she normally does. I just want to talk about a couple events before we go to our break. And then when we come back, we're going to do a Conneaut softball preview. The first event is the event that I'm going to be at tomorrow. That is the Joe Pigskin Pete alumni game. This game starting at 5 o'clock at Jefferson High School. It's going to have 2 divisions, the 29 and over and the 29 and under. These guys are going to be playing for the Joe Pigskin Pete Association, the Joe Pigskin Pete Memorial Association. So they're going to help with scholarships and these sort of things. It's a great charity to give to. Joe Pigskin Pete is a giant in this industry. Joe Pigskin Pete is the reason why high school sports began, mattered as much as they did in the late 90s and the early 2000s. This was a selfless man who gave time and effort and gusto to local sports. He was everywhere, and he made everybody feel special. One of the cool things about Joe Pete, one of the things we do right here at YSN is what we call the remote broadcast, where we essentially take this show on the road, going to local businesses and patronizing these businesses and, doing a show live from there. Well, Joe Pete was doing that back in the early 2000s for local businesses out here. And what an awesome opportunity it is for those businesses and promotion wise. Joe Pigskin Pete talked to local athletes. He interviewed them. He gave out weekly awards. The Bone Crusher Award was one of the ones that always stuck out in my head. He came out with great nicknames like, during the broadcast, he called people the PTPers, the prime time players. Everything he could do to make a young athlete feel like a superstar, he did. His efforts are one of the biggest reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, because I saw what kind of a difference he made. I looked up to him. He was, as far as I'm concerned, Ashtabula's first media superstar. Unfortunately, in 2012, we did lose him far, far too soon. And there will always be a hole in Ashtabula because of that. I'm doing my very best. I will never be Joe Pete, obviously, but I'm doing my very, very best to try and work in the same vein as him. Just trying to get this exposure out there, make these athletes feel as good as they truly are. One of the cool things about Joe Pete was, Joe Pete treated your local 3-point leader the same way he treated, Sandy Alomar. He treated your local players the same way he treated like the players in the bigs. And it was really cool to see somebody from Little Ashtabula to be able to make this kind of a difference. And I hope one day to come close to it myself. On Friday at 5:00, we'll be doing the alumni game. It's going to feature alumni teams from all over the county. We're going to have the 29 and over division and the 29 and under division. And I'll tell you what, that 29 and under division is a lot of guys who are either fresh out of college. Some of the guys are going to be still playing in college. It is a high octane basketball. That 29 and over, it's good basketball. They take a couple more timeouts. Usually you could see some knees and shoulders getting rubbed with icy hot or biofreeze by about halftime, but it's fun basketball to watch. These guys are all still in great shape and do a great job and compete at a very high level. And it's very, very entertaining. And I'm very excited to be able to do this. We'll see you guys there tomorrow, all at 5:00. And then another event coming up. I just want you guys to start marking your calendars for this Emilio Parks second annual Hoops Classic happening on June 24th. It's going to be a bring your own team event. Emilio Parks is a guy who, playing professional basketball internationally, whether it was Indonesia, Puerto Rico, Argentina, Mexico, he's been all over the country or all over the world, playing basketball. He's seen a lot of basketball, bringing that passion, bringing that love, bringing that experience back here to Ashtabula starting on June 24th at 10:00. There's going to be a lot of teams in this one. You're going to want to make sure you get in there by that deadline of May 24th. The Emilio Parks second annual Hoops Classic. We'll be covering the championship rounds of this one. I don't know that we're going to get an 8-hour long coverage, but we will definitely be getting those championship rounds covered right here on YSN Live. All right, folks, we are going to go to our first break. And this is the time of the show where I remind everybody that the 440 Sports Show is brought to you by absolutely no one yet. We are still looking for advertisement. We're still looking for sponsors. We're still looking for some people who want to get involved with the promotion of local athletes. YSN provides you that opportunity, and what a great opportunity it is. If you're trying to get your product, your business, anything you're doing, you want to get it promoted, give us a call. Give me a call. 68 different communities, 68 different schools, 68 different demographics are going to be available right here on YSN. You're going to get everywhere from the lake to the river down in Youngstown. There's really no better value in advertising than what's offered here at YSN. You're going to get your ads run on daily shows. You're going to get your ads run during the tons and tons of games that are happening every single day in front of a wide variety of people who may have never seen your product then. And then also, and probably most importantly, you're going to be able to help youth sports in the area. And the way you can help youth sports in the area is because these advertising, these sponsorship funds, they're going to help us continue to do these broadcasts, to provide these extras, to make things like the YSN All-Star team, YSN All-Star game, which happened at the Youngstown State Beagley Center and featured over 60 schools on one court. We got all-stars from absolutely everywhere. And I haven't had time to thank everybody, but I want to thank everybody from Ashtabula for making the trip down there, whether it was players, whether it was fans, whether it was coaches. I really appreciate you guys coming down there. YSN really appreciates you coming down there. It's one of those things where it was like our first event that we could truly be involved in. And I was just so proud of the output by everybody up here from the 440. Those sort of things are going to happen because of sponsorships and because of advertising. So if you or you know somebody who has a business that could use some promotion or simply just wants to give back and help out in the community, please contact me. If you don't want to contact me, that's fine. Get over on www.ysnlive.com under the advertise tab and contact YSN. We will work something out with you and make something that works out for you and us, as well as helps these athletes. That's my soapbox, folks. But for right now, we're going to go to our first ad, and that's going to be Toyota of Warren. We'll be right back.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
All right, folks, thanks for joining us again here on the YSN's 440 Sports Show. My name is Sam Torres here on this Thursday, March 30th. We just got done talking about some basketball events. Our upcoming show starting on Sunday nights at 7 o'clock. We got 1 hour for you, folks. It's going to be a baseball recap. I'm going to bring it up again. The Diamond Roundup, that's going to be happening on Sunday nights at 7 o'clock. It's going to have Anthony Hartwig, myself, Steve Leslie, DJ Yoakley. We've got some of the broadcasters from YSN that are going to join on the show and give a little bit of what they're seeing during the games that they're covering. It's going to be a nice overall look of baseball all the way down from the river up to the lake. And I'm so excited about this one. It's going to be a super fun show. But before we do the Sunday preview, let's do our Conneaut preview. Bringing that up, I want to thank Coach Lexi Zappatelli for providing all this information. And I'm talking about a very, very in-depth look at their team this year. So excited for this Conneaut Spartans team. You know, they did lose 3 seniors. I didn't have the names yet, but I'm talking about they are bringing back an army of Spartans this year. If you look at their returning players, they've got a couple girls who have been 4-year ladies. They've got a couple girls who are coming back to softball after, whether it's a 1-year break, 2 or 3-year break. They've got a lot of help out there on this Spartans team this year. Coach Lexi Zappatelli, very, very excited to cover these Spartans this year. And I'm very excited, she's very excited to coach them. I'm very excited to go out there and see what these ladies got when they hit the diamond. Let's start off with the schedule, and I want to preface this with saying all of these games subject to weather change, and I'm sure that they're going to be adding a couple throughout the year because a lot of the games up here have been canceled or rescheduled early in the year. But this is the schedule as accurate as it stands according to my sources. I'm going to preface it with all of that. That way, if anything's wrong, I've got my bases covered. All right, let's start off on March 30th. They're going to head to Jefferson, which is tonight. They're going to be heading to Jefferson to play at the Jags complex. And if I read correctly, I do believe they're going to move that game time up to 4 o'clock to try and avoid some of the crummy weather. April 4th, which is incredible that we're talking about April already. They're going over to Pymatuning Valley to play those Laker women. For April 6th, they're going to be hosting Geneva. Unfortunately, that's one of those games that we're going to be able to cover Geneva when they're on the road. 7 out of 8 have joined the YSN experience. 7 out of 8 have taken advantage of this opportunity. I'm hoping that sooner than later we can make it 8 of 8. I said on a previous show, and I truly do mean that. It's like having 8 kids and only 7 of them showing up for Thanksgiving. We've got a lot of great stuff going on here. And if you want to get your school involved, whether it's Geneva or any other school, make sure you reach out to your coaches, your administrators, your parents. Those are the people that are going to help it go. Primarily the administrators, they're the ones who are going to have to make the final call. Let them know that you want to be part of the YSN experience and get these opportunities. April 7th, they're going to Madison. April 10th, they're going to be home versus St. John. Pretty good shot that we'll be covering that one, folks. April 12th, they're going to be home versus West Middlesex, PA. April 13th, they're going to be heading over to Lakeside. April 14th, heading over to Edgewood. They got a nice little road trip ahead of them here. And then April 17th, heading over to Grand Valley. A lot of these teams have been covered already. Actually, I believe, and if I'm mistaken, I apologize in advance. I believe we have gotten every single YSN Ashtabula County school covered under these previews. Starting with tomorrow. Tomorrow, we will have Jefferson's preview for their softball team, and I believe that's it. All 14 of them. It should be 16. But all 14 so far at this time covered. And how cool is that? You got a question about schedule, returning players, or anything? Head over to my Instagram page on the 440 Sports page, and you're going to get all the information you need. April 18th, they're going to be home versus Edgewood in what is Ashtabula County's oldest existing rivalry. April 20th, they're going to be home versus Lakeside. April 21st, the Kirtland Hornets going to Conneaut. April 22nd, they're going to go to a doubleheader in Paynesville as they play the Harvey Red Raiders. April 25th, they're going to be home versus Madison. April 28th, they're going to be home versus Jefferson. April 29th, they're going to be at St. John. Now, St. John plays at Softball City in Ashtabula. For those of you who don't know where that's at, just get right on West Avenue. If you hit Smith Field, the big baseball field that's facing there, you're going the right direction. Go in the back there behind Andrews Party Center and the roller skating rink, and you're going to see some beautiful softball fields in Softball City, and that's where St. John's going to play their home games. And that's where on April 29th, you're going to be able to watch the Conneaut Spartans take on the St. John Heralds in a game of softball. May 1st, they're going to be at Geneva, as I said earlier. Unfortunately, that's an uncoverable game right now, unless something changes, unless there's a change of heart or a reconsideration. And then April 4th, they are going to be home versus Pymatuning Valley. And that's their schedule as it stands. Again, I think we're going to see some changes in this schedule because there's been a ton of weather cancellations. There's been a ton of reschedules. You name it, it's happened. I mean, it's Northeast Ohio and it's spring. We know that nothing is for sure except for the fact that you are unsure. But let's go through some of their returning players, and this is what Coach Lexi Zappatelli was so excited about, was all of these girls returning and the prospects of this season. Starting off with Caitlin Bean. She's a pitcher and an infielder. Sophia Householder, who is a catcher and is getting ready to sign her national letter of intent. She's going to be taking her softball skills to the next level, playing for Teal. Riley Furl is going to play some infield for them as well. She's a senior, and Riley Furl is another one of those young ladies that when you talk about Conneaut athletics for the last 4 years, she has been involved in every facet. This is a great volleyball player. She's a good basketball player, a good runner, and now a good softball player as well. I mean, she's just a great athlete, and that's great to see those great athletes take it over to the softball side. Mira McConnell going to be coming and playing some infield. Devin Zappatelli, the same thing applies to her as Riley Furl, a name that you hear in all of Conneaut Spartan sports. Zappatelli as a whole is a very big and good name in sports in Conneaut. Maya Klein is going to come back. She's going to play some infield. She's coming back after a 3-year hiatus. She played a little bit, played softball as a freshman, took a 2-year hiatus, took a couple of years off, coming back as a senior and gonna end the softball career right. Lainey Passening also returning after a year off. She's going to play some outfield for the Conneaut Spartans. Lexi Brown coming in this year. She's going to play some pitcher and infielder for the Conneaut Spartans. Ashley Sherman, Lauren Zimmerman, they're going to be outfielders this year for the Spartans. And then some of the some of the younger players, these being sophomores, Emily Lorello coming in playing some infield, and Lydia Jarina going to come in, and she's going to be a utility player for the Conneaut Spartans this year. And I just want to kind of read off what Coach Zappatelli said about this year, because, again, she's got some very, very high expectations, and she's very excited about the year. This year from Conneaut Spartans, they're looking for a competitive season before they make their entrance into the CVC next year. And, that's one of the overall things that you've heard from Conneaut sports across all sports. And the same thing can be applied to Jefferson and what I can assume is Madison. As this CVC entrance, you're going to have Madison, Jefferson, and Conneaut coming in and forming a new division as well. That division, of course, going to have Lakeside, Geneva, Conneaut, Madison, Jefferson, and Edgewood, all in that division, forming a CVC Lake division a la the NEC, the Northeastern Conference of the 90s. I could not be any more happy for this conference. I think it makes the most sense. I think that you need to have these teams playing against the teams near them for the conference, and the non-conference play is where you open up the doors and start playing other communities. I think it makes the most sense. I think during the NEC, I think sports mattered here more than any time in history. And the fact that we're starting to go back to that is a step in the right direction. And I commend the CVC and I commend the administrators of each school, whether it's athletic directors or schools in general, for making this decision and bringing it back and starting to make some things that make sense again. Let me pull that off the screen. Anyway, she said this year, before they make their entrance into the CVC, they're hoping to have that solid pitching and solid defense lead them through while utilizing their speed and athleticism when the girls get to the bases. They got a large group of seniors, and they're trying to make every moment count, enjoying the small moments, and most importantly, they want to make sure that they have a lot of fun, because at the end of the day, that is the most important thing. You want to make sure these girls are having fun. You want to make sure it's a memorable one. I'm really excited. I'll tell you what, I'm excited to get to cover this team this year. I think it's going to be a great year for this Conneaut Spartans team. I think they got a great coach in Lexi Zappatelli. I think they've got a great bunch of girls, a lot of experience getting out there, a lot of very competitive young women going to be out there in the Spartans uniforms this year, and they're playing a ton of Ashtabula softball, and you're going to get a ton of that coverage right here on ysnlive.com, and whether it's on the scores page, the standings page, right here on the 440 Sports Show. We're going to make sure we do our very best to get all these games highlighted and all the information out to you. Again, I just want to remind you guys, I'll bring this on the screen one more time, baby. This Sunday starting at 7 o'clock, brand new show. We haven't even taken the wrapping off of it. It's still in the packing peanuts, folks. It's the Diamond Roundup. It's going to be a weekly review show a la Baseball Tonight, a la, the super show that we do in the fall with football. We're going to have announcers and broadcasters from all over YSN talking about their teams, their perspective, what they're seeing. We're going to be covering games throughout the week. We're going to be talking about standings. We're going to be talking about the gravity of those games during the week. That's the most important. We're also going to be naming our players of the week. Let's just say there's multiple, and it could be, that's all I'm going to give you right now. Make sure you tune in on Sunday. It's going to be a truly, truly fun show. I can't wait for it, guys. It's going to be awesome. That's all I got today. Tomorrow, we should be doing a Jefferson softball preview, which is going to end the previews, believe it or not. I can't believe it. As we head ready for Friday. And don't forget, Friday night, the Joe Pigskin Pete alumni game broadcasted by yours truly. I'm super excited about that. That's what I got for you today, folks. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. We'll see what's going on. Hopefully, some more baseball and some more baseball and softball games happen. I know that there's all kinds of crazy weather out there right now. For the 440 Sports Show and YSN, I'm Sam Torres. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. I'll see you tomorrow.
This for the football. This for the football. For the city in the back roads, got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the football. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmetto and Valley. We from the football chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating no dragons who run the whole city. You wildin'. And they really bout it, yeah. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them, yeah. And Connie, I flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. Switch for the football.